It says it's running on my end. Oh, let me click the button that says go live. Well, if you guys if you guys are on the alt tech, you actually got the live show, but I think you did anyway. I didn't actually check everything. Yeah, there you are. But yeah, yep, there it is. So I just forgot to push the go live button on YouTube. So yep, Odyssey's good. I believe I checked everything else. Hey, we are live again. Sorry, I'm not going to re-roll the intro. Let's place bets. How long is my overhead light going to work? It worked for about, I'd say about 10 minutes when I filmed my Christian video today. So I'm expecting that overhead light, which is going to kind of giving some of the yellows to fade away. Let me actually turn on this one too. Here, I'll give us a rainbow effect for behind me. How's that work? I think that'll work. Give me a little rainbowy effect there. But I hope everyone's doing well. We have a weird news week coming up. I'm going to try and have a show that's under 2 hours, but I've already booted out a good half a dozen articles, and I still have like 8 to 10 articles in every section. I'm like, every one of these articles is good. I don't know what to throw out. So news this week is going to be an interesting one. I think I'm going to try and filter it down to the best 5, and who knows, maybe I save a few of them and just use them for other news articles. I should try like the Louis Rossman approach, do more shorter videos throughout the week that are easy to produce, and who knows, I boost my channel up, I'll have like 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Not. Yeah, a lot of what he's doing now is he's doing, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even unmute you guys. I got so messed up and everything, I didn't even unmute you guys. Thank you, guys. Today is like, should we just stop the stream and just restart? I mean, it's been a crazy day, though. It's been a crazy week. It's been hot and all sorts of weird stuff. Like that. Actually, I feel like I have too much red on the camera right now. So there you go. That's better. I like that better. So, yeah. So, okay. Anyway. Yeah, Louis Rossman stuff. So Dan's comment before I unmuted them was that it's been more rant type stuff. I kind of like a lot of his current because he's really tackling a lot more regular common consumer stuff. But I can see how some people who really fell in love with Louis Rossman's channel could not like it because it is a lot different content than he started on. So, but
the best ones I liked were his bike rides around New York.
Yeah, and I never actually really watched those. I just didn't really care. I know New York is a crap hole. I know he's telling us how much New York is a crap hole. I just don't need to see New York being a crap hole, you know. But that's me personally. I liked he did a good couple on the Librem 5 phone this week, Purism.
Yeah.
It's just those were excellent videos as well. But I don't know. I don't think I'm trying to not have as much news content on the show. I want to have much more Linux, FOSS, and other stuff. In other news, as far as the short stories for the supporters' eyes only, those ones. So I had like 5,000 or 6,000 words, and I was only partway through Act 3 out of 5. I'm like, okay, this needs to be a short story, not a novel. So I took the axe to it and started cutting a bunch of things out, and actually have it down to the point where it will be only 4 sections instead of 5, and it should be somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 words, perfect length for a short story. So I should have that. I'm planning to have that up and on the supporters platforms on the 15th of each month is what we're going to shoot for, somewhere right around there anyway. So once that is up, then I'm going to do an exclusive video. I'll read that and kind of talk about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to have guests on or not, simply because of trying to logically figure out the schedules. I'm not sure. We'll try it first without and then see what we have to do later. I just don't know yet. But anyway, there will be more exclusive only content for any of the supporters over there. And that will eventually get published into a book. And then for the higher tiered supporter tiers, I will send a copy of that book to you if you would so like it. Digital copies, I think everyone will
Yeah, I
get.
noticed
But
this
we'll
week you pumped out a lot more Linux material.
Yeah, that's part of the plan, is to do more Linux content, less news content. So this week we already have a video filmed. It's either going to come out Friday or Saturday, looking at Linux Mint now has Wayland on its roadmap to at least look at, and we're going to look at that. And then the other one will do the Firefox response to Google's DRM stuff, which was the alternative topic for here, but everyone that voted liked talking about this one instead, so it should be nice and easy. So that is kind of where we are. I think we're only 5 minutes in. I guess we can shoot the breeze a little bit more. How's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good.
All right, very nice.
A little hot outside.
No kidding. Try living in a van.
I'm trying to spend more time outside than sitting here watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. I got stuff I need to get done before the weather changes.
Ah, good. I got it. The mosquito got his way in here. Finally got him.
There you go.
Corpse mosquito. He's gonna come back as a zombie, suck me dry while I'm dead. I don't know. Yes, there is news on LMDE 6 as well. That will also be in the Linux Mint video. And we also are getting I guess some distros call it an advanced hardware stack. It'll be like a Zen kernel as well. So we will have a Linux Mint kernel 6, is it 6.1 or 6.2? I don't know. I have all the details in the video coming out. That'll be either Saturday's video or Sunday's video. I'm not sure which one yet. It's kind of, I'm going to look at the two videos I have in the hopper and see which one goes which day. If you guys want, I think the Linux Mint one will probably be Saturday, and I think the other one will probably be Sunday. That's my guess. So let's check in on comments, and then we'll jump into our topic. Commodore fan, if Chromebook was launched in 2020, the updated support is now 8 years, not 5 like it used to be. Yeah, that's one of the proposals of what we're doing here. I gotta grab water because I'm boiling. One of the proposals suggests it could cause Chromebooks to last longer. Is there an open source version of ChromeOS? No, the original incarnation of Peppermint was kind of designed as that. Dan, would you say it kind of is still on that track or not?
For what?
For Peppermint. Like Peppermint, Mark's original idea of Peppermint was literally a Linux version of a ChromeOS, really a network, lightweight network system that utilized a lot of progressive web apps to get things done. Is that still kind of on their target or not? I know it can still do that. I'm not sure.
They're kind of still playing with that idea. The whole thing is they actually went to Debian like Mark was planning to. You probably noticed the last version that was based on Bullseye had the Nemo file manager. Well, with XFCE, it was really hard to get Nemo to play with that, so they changed the file manager.
Yeah, what I was just looking for is their direction. Are they trying to be like a Chromebook still, or just a?
They're trying to come up with a little bit of everything for every kind of little situation. There's another developer that's on our it's in our group. His name is Manuel Rosa. Some people may have heard of him. He has a distro called Acor, capital ACOR, and it's supposed to be built for brand new users. I got the overnight build of the Cinnamon version, and it's just like you installed Debian and had Cinnamon installed in it. If you did it all the hard way with the Debian installer, except he uses Calamari's installer, and you get it all right out there.
Oh, nice. Rogue Network Engineer says the new web browser is about 1.5 years or 2 years behind schedule. On the new one, no. Actually, they're rolling this out to update it faster. We'll get into that, if that's what you're talking about. There's ChromeOS Flex based on Chromium browser. It's almost x86 hardware. I don't think there's an end-of-life date, but some features like access to the Play Store won't work. Okay. Let's see. The Anchorage, Ivan, you're singing I Can Only Imagine.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'll see the video of the guy robbing the store of tobacco products. The owner is beating with a stick because he knows cops don't do anything. Yeah, that's what I was before the stream started. I said, yeah, maybe what America needs right now. Going back to that Dark Knight series. I am what the country needs, Maybe we need vigilante justice until the police. It's not the police as much the district attorneys actually start doing their job. I think the police, by and large, are doing their job. The problem is they're arresting people, sending them in, and then the other's like, oh, you can walk on a signature bond, and then they never show up, and they commit 15 more crimes in the process. That's a serious problem our culture needs to tackle, and it's simply tackled by telling the DAs, like they did in Florida. Ron DeSantis fired that one DA because it's like you are letting criminals on the street. You're not doing your job. You're fired. That's what we need. We need DAs who actually throw people in jail who are actually committing crimes, because we will see a much lower case of recidivism, and there will be fewer criminals on the street to commit said crimes. Immediately, the culture is going to become safer. But if the police won't do their job, maybe we need some strong vigilante justice who always has a good message that says we will put down our tools when the legal system is actually doing its job. So I don't know. ChromeOS to Chrome. Did we sign a prenup? I don't know. Watching supper at the same time. Hello, Moonbase. Just don't take me to your leader, please. Wayland is the future, yes. And let's see. More or less just got started. Yeah. I like his rants on right to repair, but tired of hearing about New York and New York City being a trash heap. I am on board with that. Yeah. I know New York City sucks. Although the occasional hearing a few reminders of exact reasons is okay, but I really do like I actually do really like his new approach, which is a whole lot more focused on the whole industry of right to repair and consumer technologies and things. I think is pretty good. We'll talk LMDE 6 on my next video, and I'm pretty sure that'll be Saturday. I'm excited about bacon and eggs. So am I every morning. I've installed Safing's Portmaster Privacy Suite. It's awesome by default. A lot of cool things out of the box, and it says privacy a lot. You might look into it. Okay, Portmaster Privacy Suite. Hold on. I have a thing for this now. Ugh. I got one of these digital LCD pads to reduce sticky note consumption. So, what is it? Portmaster. And of course, the only ones I could order on Amazon and ship to my post office box is the ones with the batteries, and the battery was dead on arrival, and it uses a CR1220, which is not sold in pretty much any store. Huge city, you can probably find one, but I could not find them anywhere. Like Best Buy, Walmart, Target. I checked every pharmacy. Nobody had them. But the CR1216 actually works, and actually works a little bit better. So we're going to give that a try a little bit. The good news is they're cheap, so if it doesn't work, I can just throw it away. If it breaks, I'll just throw it away. But I have it.
Is that a button cell?
What's that?
Is that a button cell? Like a large watch battery?
Oh yeah. It's not the large ones. Like the most common are the CR2032s.
You know, like the ones that go in the car remotes.
Yeah. Those are CR2023s. So like I believe this is probably CR2023. Yeah. So like this is your most common size. That one.
Right.
Yeah. Now this one takes a really small, obscure one that you can't find, and when the battery was dead out of the box.
I had that problem with the little scale I got for my turntable, so I could weigh my tone arm and cartridge to set the weight on the back. It takes little tiny batteries too. You can't find them anywhere. The only place you can get them is on Amazon.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like I wasn't waiting another week or two to get a battery in. So I did a little bit of research and found the 1216s. They're only slightly thinner, but the 1220 kept getting stuck in that. It's like too big. So I said, well, let's try the 1216, and it worked perfectly. So that's good. Am I in my van now? Yes, I am. I am nowhere but my van. I don't have any other place to go. So I'm parked in some little state park that I couldn't sleep here, but I can stay here pretty much as late as I want. As long as it's no ranger catches me actually sleeping or getting ready to sleep, I'm okay. Yes. What, that title? What, Chrome and the OS separating? Yes, we will talk about that in just a moment.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why Odyssey Stream sucks for me. Yeah. Some people do have issues with the Odyssey stream, for sure. Trade it. Our Walk in Christ. So is that a link to the video tonight? Name of the Christian channel is Our Walk in Christ. Yes, thank you very much for posting the link to the channel tonight. We have a video premiering at 9 tonight, and it is on Amos chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. We're splitting that one up because I had like 6 pages of notes on Amos 5, so I split it in half. All right, we are going to go ahead and hit the topic, and we'll go ahead and do that. So, the news, this is just a nice, quick, easy one, more a relaxing one because I had a hell of a week. So it's still not over, and I still didn't get everything done I needed to get done, but I got enough done. So this was a nice, easy article, and I proposed 2, and this is the one people over there on Matrix voted for. So we'll do this one. ChromeOS is splitting the browser from the operating system, becoming more Linuxy. So they said nothing official yet. However, some guys that do a lot of things, Kelvin Tofel's About Chromebooks blog, spotted that the next version of ChromeOS, which is 1.16, has actually removed the flags for testing the new Linux system. Like they call it the LaCrosse, I think LaCrosse is how we're pronouncing it, Google browser, which the LaCrosse stands for Linux and Chrome OS. The idea is, like Microsoft is trying to do with Internet Explorer, got sued at it, 25-ish years later. They're like, hey, we don't care, let's try it again. And they're implementing Edge as deep in the system as Internet Explorer used to be because, nobody's prosecuted on monopolies anymore or antitrust. So what's happening now is that they're separating the browser, which used to be the core way the thing ran, from the rest of the operating system itself. Now, Chrome OS, if you're unaware, is actually a customized Gentoo build. So it's crazy, or at least the people who created it. I mean, Gentoo, are you nuts? But it is Gentoo, so under the hood, it is Linux. It is super locked down, so you can't really do with it what you want. It doesn't really behave like Linux, but at its core, it is Linux. But it was so tied into the Chrome browser that you couldn't separate the two. And what they're doing now is they're splitting the operating system, which is the Linux Core OS, from the browser itself, and then instead of shipping your Chrome OS, they're shipping an identical copy of the Chrome browser that you get on Linux. So if you were to have add the PPAs from Ubuntu or adding whatever repository code you need to install Google Chrome on Linux, that's the exact version they're going to be shipping with your Chrome OSs now. And for those keeping track, the overhead light is still on. Shocking. I was expecting it to be dead by now. But Google documentation on the project says Chrome OS system, the UI, Ash window manager, login screen, etc., and the web browser are currently the same binary. The big problem with that is that if there's a major security update, they have to rush to update the whole Chromebook in addition to the browser itself. The alleged idea here is to separate these out so that you can update the browser independently of the operating system, because it's Gentoo. Nobody's attacking it. You don't need to update it every day. But, you might. Now, the other advantage they say is that with more and more apps natively moving with Wayland support, the new browser has better Wayland support, because when they put this together the first time, they didn't use X and they didn't use Wayland as the compositor. They used a home-built system called Freon. The thing is that Wayland is starting to become better and better supported, and being better and better supported, now it's pretty close to ready for prime time. It's not 100% there yet, but it's enough to get the average user on. I still can't use Wayland for some of the
I can't
applications
either.
that I use.
And it's
but,
really funny about when you're talking about Wayland. I started Linux when 2018, something like that. They were working on Wayland then. They're working on Wayland now. They still ain't got it so it does everything it's supposed to do. And they're able to build PipeWire, display it, and put it in packages and functional, right? In this time frame with no problem.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I mean, I think, though, getting an audio system to work is a little bit less complicated than getting
PipeWire
a
also is
compositor
used. PipeWire is also used to route video connections as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea here is that we can get the separation between the browser and the operating system itself. So on the surface principle, I think this is a good thing. I do like the approach. I like how it's moving in that direction. That's my thought. What do you guys think before we move on to our next point?
Chrome and Chromebooks, and first of all, I don't have a reason to buy a Chromebook. Second of all, Chrome is Google, and I kind of keep my distance with anything Google as much as possible. If I got to use a Chrome-based browser like for this meeting here, I use Vivaldi. I'm not going to, because I have to use a Chromium thing to make it work. I'm not going to run out and get Chromium or Chrome or something like that. I'll get a derivative I can live with.
Yep.
So, I usually use Firefox forks or stuff like that instead. I just feel more secure that way. LibreWolf being my main browser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, that's. I'm with you there.
Google's in the data collection business.
Yeah, I don't use Chromebooks. I don't use Chrome. I don't use Gentoo either. But I have any thoughts before we move on here?
Well, I myself, I do happen to use Vivaldi in particular. But it's like that kind of, I don't know if it qualifies as a fork or something like that, but a Chromium based web OS that uses an alternative from Firefox. Although I do have LibreWolf and something else. I think I've got Tor as well. Yeah. But it's like it's not my main thing to go with, and and I look at like Chrome OS and the Chrome web browser mushed together. It's like, well, yeah, it's a Google product. Of course they're going to do that, and now they're trying to separate it out. And when I see that, just as a main header description, I'm thinking, okay, so they say, oh, we're separating it out. They're making more Linuxy. Yeah, it's really no different. It's just splitting it up.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily good. This isn't necessarily bad. I think it really could go either way, and it's Google, the company who got rid of the slogan "Don't be evil." Just let that sink in.
The positive point of this may be that Chromebooks, the service life of them may be extended because you can keep updating the browser.
Correct. And that's one of the biggest things. Actually, I was looking at the news today, and there's another article today, beware Chromium or Chrome OS buyers, Chromebook buyers. Amazon is still selling Chromebooks that are already out of their service date. A friend of mine actually bought a Chromebook with only a year or so left on service date, which I think is out now. We were trying to get Linux installed on that, and we did not find any good way to do it with that particular model. So,
nothing like buying a piece of e-waste.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's like if every Chromebook, Google released them and said, okay, at this date we're out of support. Now we're completely opening this thing up and allowing you to install anything on it you want. I'm all for it, because you can pick it up.
They ought to put dates on them like they do food.
Yeah.
Best by this date or throw it out.
Yeah. But in this case, let's not throw it out and create more e-waste. Let's say these are no longer good to be using Chrome. And who knows, maybe Google can be like, hey, now you're at a service update. We're going to just update it to, pick random X Linux distribution. It automatically installs Linux distribution, and then you're on your own from there. I'm okay with that. Anything that keeps otherwise functioning hardware out of landfills is a good thing. These companies are running around telling us all, we have to save the planet, yet you're producing stuff with a specific end of life date that you will not let people install a software on it that will allow it to move beyond its live date.
That's the problem with the Chromebook. It's proprietary hardware, and that's why they use Gentoo, so they could write all the drivers to their proprietary hardware into Gentoo, and no other Linux distro is going to have that required hardware connection to the Chromebook.
Yeah. So the next point I had on my list here is the new version of Lacrosse is exactly the same thing as Google Chrome on Linux. I think I've already mentioned that, so we're not going to spend any more time on that one. So I have 4 proposed ideas what types of things this could lead to. What do we think, pros or cons, yes or no? The first one, and I think this is definitely confirmed, they want to do this because it will allow them to have faster updates. If the only thing to fix is a patch in a browser, you can roll out a patch to a browser way faster than rolling out the patch to the whole operating system. Whereas likewise, if the browser's fine and you find a 0 day in the operating system, you can roll out a patch for the operating system without messing with the browser, which the browser, if you spend any time updating Linux from the terminal and you see how much data is being downloaded, I don't think there's software that I've downloaded that is larger than any of the web browsers. They're all way larger than every other package I download. And so, separating those out would be a good thing, especially when it comes to updating Gentoo. You're probably updating some small package. It might be a few kilobytes of data, whereas if you're updating the whole operating system as a single binary, it might take a lot longer. I don't know how they're running their back end now, so who knows. But what do you guys think? Faster updates, yes, no?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it'd be give them the ability for more urgency on critical problems.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2 was longer support. As we'd mentioned, one of the big problems with the Chromebooks is the e-waste. Of course, we know that Google's trying to sell, like a lot of these companies, like Louis Rossman again the other day had looking at the Samsung stuff. I need to replace my screen on my Samsung. The first option, trade your phone in. Great.
Yeah.
And so they want to sell more hardware because they're going to make more money on selling a hardware than supporting an old one. It's the same thing with all the consumerism stuff. They want us to buy new stuff rather than fixing the stuff we already have. And that's why, I don't know, I could come off as being anti-consumer in that way, in that I want to just fix the stuff that I have and not have to keep buying new stuff. That's the thing. And that's why I like Dell computers. I can fix them a whole lot better than most other models that I've seen.
Yeah, they cry and scream and everything about environmental this, warming that, and all this other crap. But they don't do anything to the corporations that make disposable stuff that goes right to the landfill when it's used up.
Right.
Absolutely.
They need to put some laws in place about that.
Yeah. There was actually an article. It's in my news list. I'm not sure if we're going to include it this week in the weekly news roundup, but it is looking at more repairable technology stuff. I think it's out of the Guardian. I can't remember for sure, but we'll see if it's in there. Like I said, I'm gonna have a hard time sorting the news because I still don't want to have a show that's 2 hours long, but I have so much news that's good. So the next thing is more or less intrusive. The articles, of course, didn't have anything to say about this. Do you think that this method will support Google being more intrusive or less intrusive on the end user? Or
I think it can go in either direction. It depends on how Google wants to approach it. I mean, they might have to sit back and think for a minute, but I think, in one aspect, it can be like, okay, now that that's pulled out of the play, as it were, we can focus on this and get more deep into it. And another one would be like, okay, well, we're doing that, so why don't we take a little bit of a bigger break and pull back from this other thing, and we can breathe a little easier for a little while. So it can go in either direction, I think.
Yeah.
I think like Ivan says, it could go in either direction. The one thing I'd be interested in, do you have to actually log into your Google account to use the browser? That would be a big minus for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that, unless they've done some things, I think Google Chrome, like the Chromebooks, I thought you had to log in online to use it. Am I right about that or wrong about that? Or maybe they were like that in the first few generations, and they're like, hey, some people might want to use it offline. But it does strike me it's a Google product, and Google insists on keeping you logged in everywhere. And so I don't know if they'd make a change to that or not. But if the browser is not integral to the operating system itself, it strikes me that you'd have an easier ability to change that. But I don't know. Razzy's Realm says it would, though, be more intrusive than a proctology exam performed by Dr. Hook. Okay, that's a stunning little thought.
Yeah.
Yikes. In my opinion, I think it might lend itself to being a little bit more intrusive because it allows them to do smaller incremental updates that you're more unaware of what's going on. That's my thought.
Yeah, any updates that are performed, you should be made aware of and be able to decline or accept them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really a model they don't want us to go. They don't want us to accept or reject updates. And the entire cultural zeitgeist right now is, oh, you got to push the update. What's it do? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Got to push the update. Yeah. And I reject that. I push back against that a little bit. I mean, some things like an online type thing, server, yeah, I'm going to push the updates as fast as I can. But everything under the sun, no, I don't really want that. And the last point, is this a way to have better Linux support, or is that not part of Google's goal?
I think it at least it opens the door to allow it if someone's willing to take the initiative and dive in on that. But like I was, talking before about, it can go either way. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think it opens up the door, and it's just a matter of that one person taking the initiative and saying, "Hey, we can do this. Why don't we?" And then you have the board or the managers or whatnot.
The AI has said, no, you need to collect more data. We don't have everything that we need to control this particular population. The selfish ledger is running itself.
Exactly.
Dan, any thoughts?
Well, it's Google. They're going to take advantage of anything they can out of this. They're saying it's going to be for updates. Okay, fine. It helps them with updates. It's the data collection part that I'm concerned about and how much it does it. If you got to log in to use the browser, well, that's a problem. If you have to, you don't have the choice to accept or deny updates, now that's a problem. Or at least be notified that you got updates and you can at least put them off for a few days or something. It's, and as far as the Linux part of the Chromebook, they're just using Linux. It's not something that everybody out there can do. Is make their own Linux distro out of another distro that works only on their hardware. It's a specialty Linux that they've made out of another distro.
Yep. In my thought, I mean, in theory, it could have a better way to support Linux, but I agree with somebody in the comments here that Google is in it for Google, not for Linux, from Kokik. I agree with that. That's not their intention, but I think it could lend itself to being more support for Linux, but I don't think that's specifically a goal. Because if that was specifically a goal, people might say, wow, this Linux is pretty cool, but Google is preventing me from exploring further, and they may just buy a low-end PC and put Linux on it. Whereas Google wants people to stuck in their ecosystem. And so with that, I think that it could have better support for Linux. I mean, part of this is the Wayland support. Which means intrinsically it's going to be better Linux support rather than their built-in Freon. But the problem, of course, is that that's not what they want because they do not want people switching to Linux. They want people stuck inside of their ecosystem because their ecosystem collects the data, like Road Vagabond Life says over here on Odyssey, like Google would ever say. More user data? No thanks, I've got plenty for now. No, that's Google always wants to do things for Google. They always want to do things to collect more data. That was the whole purpose of the Selfish Ledger. If you're unfamiliar with that, look up the Selfish Ledger. It was an internal Google document that leaked, like an internal Google training video that leaked with the philosophy. Philosophy A is three parts of the video. The first point is get people so used to the service based on the convenience that that's the first place that they go. We are definitely way beyond that. The second principle is the AI is going to determine the information that is missing so it can figure out how to collect that information. So it's like, I don't know this person's weight. Okay, let's look for a smart scale and then market that smart scale to the person through marketing pushes. And so now after so-and-so things, you're like, oh, wow, the smart scale. This is great for my new dieting plan. Never mind the Lizzo concert, I guess. But then you buy the scale, which is, of course, is a smart scale because they would not dare market you anything but a smart scale, so that now they can collect the health data because Google collects a lot of health data on people. And so now the ledger says, okay, now we have them used to the service. Now we've been filling in the holes. We've figured out their weight. We've figured out all little things that we need to know about them. The next goal is how do we use this data to achieve the ends that we want to happen? How do we do this to achieve what we think is best for the world in a global collective, effectively like a Borg? Now let's drive them with the information that we have on them in such a way. And that light shifting was my light just died. 37 minutes in. That's not too bad. It's more than I thought it'd last. So that really is what Google's plan is. Yeah, they're not going to be out there trying to make more on it or trying to make less on it. They're not going to be out there pushing the zeitgeist of the whole culture moving towards a free and open source operating system. They want people driving to it. Overall, I think this is going to have better support, but I don't think that's their actual end goal. That's my thoughts. Any other concluding remarks before we hit our comments?
You know what? It's getting to the point where it's pick your ecosystem. Mm-hmm. You want to be in the Google ecosystem, jump in with both feet. You want to be in the Microsoft ecosystem, jump in with both feet. You want to get in the Apple ecosystem, just jump in with both feet. If you want to be in any ecosystem, just use Linux.
But what they don't realize, though, is that the ecosystem is this like a test tube that's only filled about a quarter of the bottom. And once you jump in, you cannot climb your way back out of there very easily.
It makes you wonder, though, these ecosystems, are they exchanging data in between them to complete a profile?
So ultimately, I think that's part of what Tim Bernstein, is it Bernstein? What is the guy one of the web creator guys? That was kind of his idea, is that we wouldn't have individual services. Everything would be decentralized and your profile would quote unquote belong to you. And every service would simply tap into that profile to the extent that you allowed them to tap into it. That's kind of what his goal was. But then that will never happen, of course. And so as much as it makes sense for them to share data, they'll share data. But ultimately, whoever has the most data at the end of the year is going to be in better shape. So I think that's...
They all sit down in a boardroom somewhere and have their cards on the table. I need this guy's weight. Oh, I have that. Okay, I'll trade you his car model and car credentials.
Yeah, Ron Singh says Tim Berners-Lee. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's possible. If Google really needs that weight, they will very possibly give up more data to get it. I completely agree with that. That's for sure something that's possible. That's it. Took Google 37 minutes to find out the stream was live and to decide to kill Tom's light. Yes, that's right. I will find the light and kill it.
Yeah.
See, Google, if you just let me on at my regular time and don't shadow ban me, then
it'll come down to what kind of bugs do you like to eat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not a fan of the crickets. The mealworms I'll take, but the crickets not so much. But I mean, did you guys? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get into it on something that should be on band news. So we're not going to go there right now. Yeah, there's some new proposed governmental plans that will have something to do about that. But that's for another day. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at our comments and see what people are saying. Starting over here on ZTubies, which has 22 people watching on ZTubies. Let's see. More or less just got started. Let's see. I read that. Better Half is making BLT sandwiches. Very nice. Okay. Crime, a new chapter for my book. There you go. They're not lunatics. They're having a bout of mental health issues. Euphemism much? This one takes CR 2016 batteries. I wish I had one that allegedly took it. Although mine works on 2016. Now mine, no, I paid $5 or $6 for it. Dollar Tree carries a lot of button batteries. I'll look at Dollar Tree. I'll swing by. Originally it was Ubuntu based, but yep, it's been Gentoo based for a while. Link to the Christian channel. Yep, we will be on tonight on the Christian channel at 9 Eastern. That's about an hour and 20 minutes from now. That's a premiere video. I'm not actually going to be live. The time I use Chrome is when I edit my informational site. There you go. I think I made a mistake in the build for the first time. I'm paying someone to solve it. Samsung and Intel are the worst for refuge yard. Yep. Yeah, Dr. Hook proctologist. That is not a good name for a proctologist.
It is not.
That was like, I actually, there was a youth pastor that I knew in one of the cities, and his last name was Graves. And when he was doing his internship in youth pastor, his youth pastor he was working with was Coffin. So it was Coffin and Graves youth group. Trust us with your kids. Oh Lord. Very fascinating. Worst thing about women boxing is the weight in. The fight starts there. You will eat the bugs and the boils. Triumph going the speed limit without a helmet. Yeah. Now on their cow tick alpha gal syndrome. Cow tick alpha gal? I don't know. Kitty tempting an hour. Yep. Fido S17 having leaky plumbing. Oh no, not leaky plumbing. All right, we got 18 currently watching on Odyssey. Let's see what chat's going on over there. Not as much chat going up on Odyssey today.
Yeah.
Road Vagabond Life has been using Wayland exclusively for over a year. Only a couple glitches early on. Not sure an extended service life for Chromebooks is a good thing. I want people to buy that crap and to suffer. There you go.
Yeah.
Google's not going to convert their hardware to Linux. Never, ever. Probably not. No. Hey, we can dream, can't we? At least make it possible. I'm not saying easy, just possible. Lazy Fair says 1080p is good enough. I agree. I don't think we need to go much higher than that. Like Google, whatever. Yeah, more data. Yep. One end is CO2 poison. It lets me strip mine the earth more so we can build more batteries, phones, and computers. That's right.
1440 is really good for gaming, though.
Is it?
It is.
Okay. Not a gamer. Don't know.
Me neither. I just watched a lot of Linus and Jay, so...
Oh, Ridiculous just got here for the bug talk. Sorry, man. Tomorrow, Weekly News Roundup is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Set an alarm.
It's going to be a good one.
I'd rather eat pea protein than bugs or soy that makes me grow man boobs. Yeah. And this thing, as I was looking around at the best protein powders and stuff, nearly everything you can find is like soy-based these days. The one protein powder I found that has the fewest unnatural ingredients is actually Walmart brand. Please, somebody, I want to buy something other than Walmart brand, but it is the best protein powder I can find as far as something that's not completely full of garbage, man-made stuff, or soy.
Wow.
Legacy OS is a spin-off of Anarchist Antics, and Mobux. Jara runs 15-year-old hardware as well. Indeed. We got 17 over on Rumble. Using a cross browser for a while now, separated from the OS. Very good. Use Chromebook Chromebook and use the Brave browser. My Brave browser stopped showing me YouTube videos yesterday. I had to turn off the ad blocker on Brave browser, and then I just installed uBlock Origin, and that solved the problem. So
That's what I use.
A Pixel 6 Pro going to put Calyx on it. Very nice. Very good. The Brax 2 phone or a Pixel with Calyx? I'd go with the Pixel with Calyx, personally. Tricky to install Linux on a Chromebook. Yeah, it's in some of them you can do it, and some of them you can't. Yeah, Google will switch away from the Linux base at some point. How do you get an Amazon delivery when in the van? So if you go to Amazon and add local pickup locations, you can always do a local pickup location in whatever city you're in, and they are all over the country. Also with Amazon, you can load your account with cash by carrying a barcode or having it on your phone. You can go to stores all around the country, have them scan it at the register, hand them a stack of cash, and it will instantly be in your Amazon account. So you can actually use cash to buy things on Amazon and ship it to a random pickup location in a random city. Now, if you're shipping something that can't go to one of those pickup locations, usually you can go into a FedEx or a UPS store. And you can get a one-time package shipped to them. I think it costs like 10 or 15 extra bucks from them. I've never actually had to do that. I have friends all over the country, so if I need something that I can't actually get shipped to a pickup location, I just ship it to a friend's house in some area I'm going to be at soon. But technically, yes, you can do it without having friends all over the country, but otherwise, that's what you do. One over there on Twitch, but he's too twitching in the corner to chat anything, so that's okay. Vampire Frog, yo, somehow the stream chat cleared over on DLive, so I'm not sure if they're making any adjustments over there, but we still have 30 followers and apparently one person watching because the Vampire Frog has told me so. Let's see. Only Chrome-based browser I use is Brave. Yeah, I use because I have like a dozen web browsers installed on my system because they're all used for different purposes. So I have Brave, LibreWolf, Firefox, Vivaldi, and Chromium on most of my computers. Might have to recycle that Chromebook I bought at Wally World for $78. Yeah, there you go. Thinking of moving to 1440 monitors. There you go. Currently have dual 24 1080p's. That's what I'm running right now. Incorporate chickpeas everywhere for protein hit. Cheap eats. Okay, soy sauce isn't tasting good anymore. Looks like I'll use Worcestershire sauce from here on. Soy sauce is soy. Worcestershire's dead fish. Google will most likely do it to eventually make it more closed source, like Darwin being created on the mock kernel to circumvent contributors, a lack of code open source community. Okay, there you go. All right, any other thoughts from you guys before we jump over? Whoa, Vampire Frog is responding over on DLive. You need to remove the tags and re-add them so you can save the stream title, or may have... I have no idea. I'll look into it when I have time. But being said, we get like a few people on DLive a day. You know, it's not exactly a high priority when I still need to add the payment accounts to Odyssey. So if you want to do like a super chat on Odyssey, you can do that. I still need to do that and so many other things to do. So, but yeah. All right. Dan or Ivan, anything else to add before we wrap up for the night?
I'm all set.
I think we mowed over every stone and rock we could find on this one.
Very good. And no broken blades. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow, weekly news roundup at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight, we have a show over on the Christian stream if you are interested in such things. We'll be talking about Amos, chapter 5, verses 1 through 5. Return to the Lord and live. This is going to be part 1 of a 2-part message on Amos. So I'll go ahead and post that link down here. The difference between a kidney bean and a chickpea. Wouldn't pay to have kidney bean in my chest. I don't know. Let's see. Go ahead and post that everywhere I can post that. So you guys can head on over there. Of course, if you are watching on the non-Tubi channels, the Christian channel does get ported over onto the non-Tubi channels. It gets ported onto BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey probably about an hour or two after it goes live. You can look for it over there if you don't want to watch it on the Tubies. We do have our presence over on those systems as well. So with that, guys, we will see you next time.